That's making the cut.
Hi, welcome back, Raging Buffalo. This is Derek Kramer here.
And I am the man that is formerly known as Maple Leafs head coach Mike Babcock.
Okay, his real name is Kyle Powell, and he's being a dick already.
I'm Connor Priester, back once again.
And this is a Raging Buffalo podcast that might actually live up to the name. Yeah, Kyle's like, oh God, why am I always here for this crap?
Just yesterday is a very forgettable.
Forgettable?
Yeah.
No, it's pretty damn memorable, actually. Not by the game itself. No, that game was garbage. But
Very thankful that I could not watch.
I couldn't watch it either. I was
Consider yourself very lucky.
I know. I actually went back and I watched one thing. From that game.
Yeah.
Eichel chucking Nux.
Yeah. Which
And
I will love to get to later on.
Eriksson Ek not catching passes. No, he's catching these hands. You know what? We could start there, I guess. We could start there with the game and like how the Sabres are doing lately on the ice, and then we can get into the real problems, I guess, so to say. But
did you number them? Have you numbered the problems? Is it...
Kyle, there's not a list long enough.
You can't put a number. They're all equally as bad.
You can't quantify these problems or rank them or order them. They are all problems. 99 problems in the Sabres are probably all of them. I mean, let's be real here. You see how the Bills are doing? We'll just I'm all over the damn place already.
He is. No. You backtrack. You wanted to start with Jack Eichel's.
Let's start with the game. Let's start with like
I need your face. Your gloves aren't off, so I'm going to sit in the box for 4 minutes, but we're going to call it a fight.
How do you get away with that?
I'm more just aggressive and frustrated, and you're the person I see. You shoved me in front, so give me your
like, because of the fact that Eriksson Ek didn't drop any gloves. How did he not get a 10 tacked on with that?
How was it? Yeah, it was a 2-2, or it was 4?
It was a double. Yeah, it was a double minor. I'm like,
So-
okay, we'll take that, and then they kill the first one, and then there's a trip on the second one. It's like, oh, neat. So they finally they effectively killed that penalty. Except the problem is that they still can't score without Jack Eichel being on the damn ice.
Yeah, but that was the first thing. Like I said, that was the only thing that I watched from the game. Was I wanted to go back and see if Eichel actually fought, and B, if he got destroyed, or if I just want to see what happened. But then I heard that it was only a double minor. I was kind of confused on that. But was it necessary? That's the thing that I want to ask you first.
Was it necessary?
I think his heart was in the right place.
Heart's in the right place, absolutely. I think that was just pure frustration, wanting to try to do something for your team and being the captain to try to step up and do that. Do I want Jack Eichel throwing punches? No. Last thing you needed there was him breaking his hand in a fight, and you lose your captain, your best player, the only person scoring goals for you because he's pissed and he wants to try to spark the team with a fight. I don't even know necessarily if that was Eichel's truest intentions. I think the kid was just pissed.
I think so too.
So this is the question that I asked you last night when we were talking. Does it show his maturity as a player, or that his immaturity still? Going out there trying to light a fire under his team and try and get them going with a fight, or does it show immaturity because he's so frustrated to the point he's just going to start throwing nucks with some guy that's not willing to drop the gloves?
I mean, there's obviously nuance to this, and you'd have to go back to watch the entire game to really see what Eriksson Ek is doing to him.
Which I did not see.
And I did not see that either. But I think this is just more or less one of these things where you can put it both ways. You can spin it both ways. It's just really, we don't know the truest of intentions in that. But I'll look at it in a more brighter light here. I mean, he is the one that's trying to at least bring a jolt to something here.
Yeah.
It's not like he's gooning it up,
which he's doing something a lot more than what a lot of the other guys are doing.
Yeah, it's not like he's just gooning it up and trying to punch him with the guy's not looking or anything like that. Like, he actually he grabs him the entire time.
He got his attention.
Eriksson Ek didn't throw down, but I think that was more or less just I don't know. It was weird. I don't see it necessarily as the immaturity or just like the pure frustration. I think that there is nuance to all of this.
I'm just more pissed at the team's reaction. I don't care what Jack's intentions were in that moment. It doesn't matter at that point. You see your captain going out there willing to drop gloves for you in a 3-score game to the worst team in hockey, trying anything and everything to light a fire under his teammates. And what do you get?
You get Brandon Montour postgame saying that he thinks that didn't inspire some people.
Right. Actions speak louder than words. Like Jake McCabe and Brandon Montour in postgame were very vocal.
That's the one thing that I did do is I listened to postgame on my way home from work yesterday, and Montour said that he thinks that some guys on the bench were not inspired by Jack dropping the gloves, which I think that is a huge locker room problem. If you're going to have your captain, the consistent point producer of this team, dropping his gloves, like you said, in a 3-score game, and if the bench isn't inspired by that and it's not going to fire them up or something,
get out.
There's
then
a problem.
Just get the hell out.
Yeah.
Like Jason Botterill, like this is why this day yesterday is so forgettable.
No. It's and again, you want to forget it. However,
it's empty words, and but that's just the icing on the cake. I get into work, and I hear that there may be some rumblings of the GM meeting with the media before the game. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? Did
a trade happen? Like,
I told the guys down at the arena, I'm like, dude, my mind is moving a mile a minute. What could this be? And empty words.
Not only empty words, Kyle. This is probably the best transition we're going to get. That wasn't just empty words. He posted his problems of what is not going right for him swinging a friggin' deal to the media, in the public. You know what that does? It drives the price up. It makes it harder than the problem that you're already saying is hard. That's the first part about Botterill, because we can pick this damn thing apart as much as we want right now, and that is the first problem I have right there. Jason Botterill just made it harder on himself.
Yep. Got to keep that under wraps.
Are you kidding me?
Now the entire league knows how easy it could be to potentially steal a trade from Buffalo as well now, as if it wasn't going to be easier before.
Not to mention the guy seems gun-shy about trading because of, that Ryan O'Reilly trade that happened last year. You know what? First off, to anyone that says that, if your general manager is scared to trade because of something that happened, he should not be the general manager.
See, like, I don't,
should not.
I don't
should
think,
not.
I don't think that's the case.
No,
this is why Jason Botterill.
No, I know, but I'm saying
a,
people that might be saying that as like one of the reasons, he should not, if that is your reasoning.
He's an impossible man to read because during his tenure, you'd think a man in his position would become gun-shy after seeing what had happened with the Ryan O'Reilly trade. One of his biggest moves. But look what he's done since. It hasn't stopped him from going out and acquiring Jeff Skinner, paying Jeff Skinner. The coaching decisions with Jeff Skinner this year are beside the point. Brandon Montour is here now, coming from a winning culture in Anaheim. There's signings that have followed that first trade that lead you to believe that he is willing and ready to try and make this team better. But at the same position,
but in that process, though,
the writing has been on the wall.
But the Skinner
since
trade,
the end of last season, you've got 12 guys that can play on the blue line.
The Skinner trade, though,
9 of which are here.
The Skinner trade and even the Montour trade are not when the deal blows up spectacularly in his face. That hasn't happened yet. Yeah, the return was underwhelming. One player retired. It actually gave you cap relief. Could you imagine the bind they'd be in if Patrick Berglund was still here?
Yeah, it would not be great.
Yeah, think about that for a second.
Honestly, I completely forgot.
You're welcome for more bad thoughts.
I forgot the human Patrick Berglund existed on the Sabres for a certain amount of time.
Human Patrick Berglund. But, that's the other problem, is that there could have been even worse. The trade had not blown up spectacularly in their face yet. As a matter of fact, we all saw the Patrick Berglund retirement as a win. He was playing fourth-line center at $4.5 million.
Just an aside, before we get too much deeper into Botterill's move, just think about where you were as a fan in January of 2019. You were laughing at the St. Louis Blues.
Oh my God, we were like, guys, we're gonna get
a first, we got a prospect, we got Patrick Berglund's money off the books.
Hey, more important,
the Blues, they got a new coach in there.
What
a bunch of idiots.
We had a 10-game winning streak.
More importantly, there was still hope in January as well for that.
We had a 7-game homestand coming up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what was that? Get 10 out of 14 points. Where they got 4?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe they got 3. I don't know.
like Jack last night. We're not here to talk about last year. I'm sorry.
I know.
It's fun to go down memory lane.
No, I know, but we're bringing this up. The trade had not blown up as spectacularly yet on him. Right. We were looking at that as that's either a lottery pick or that's next year's pick.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis might blow it up. Like, we're looking at that last year, and we're thinking, okay, wow, this is going to be fantastic. Like, what a get for Ryan O'Reilly. And instead, fortunes reverse on both sides to the extreme, which is just go figure. And yes, we don't want to worry about last year. Last year's last year. But what are the trades that have happened since the culmination of the Ryan O'Reilly trade? Getting pick 31 and seeing O'Reilly hoisting the Stanley Cup, getting the Conn Smythe Trophy, making this look the worst. What has he done?
So since the 31st pick in the first
since
round?
Since the trade was finalized and you got that first round pick, what did you get out of this? What are the moves that have been made? He traded a second or a third for Colin Miller? I think it was a second.
Less than that. It was all cap relief. You may have only spent a fourth.
I think it was a third.
It was and then you trade another third for Jimmy Vesey. These are pretty low risk moves.
Well, then you talk about the only trade since the draft has been Alex Nylander to Chicago.
And again, a low risk move. Mm-hmm. You're dealing a prospect who doesn't look like he's developed for a prospect that spent his second half of the season in the AHL. That's a low risk move. Why? Because the person you're shipping out in Nylander, which also is one of the few people he's actually traded out of the organization for a player that, I mean, hey, maybe there's a better prospect involved there. Maybe it's just a swap of positions of disappointing players. He's good at acquiring players in a low-risk situation, it looks like. What I really need to still see is, can you still swing the big trade? Because it looks like maybe he's a little tentative now. Maybe he is thinking about that trade. That's what the actions are telling me.
I don't think he's thinking about that trade. I think that he's just kind of playing it more conservatively and wants to make sure that he gets it right. Maybe that Ryan O'Reilly deal has a little bit to do with it, but I mean, you look, we're still just in November. I mean, yes, something needs to be done, but I mean, how many moves can you think over the last couple of years where a GM hit the panic button in November and went out and made a big deal? I don't think teams are really willing to do that this early into the season. In the offseason, yes, he definitely should have done something. But right now, I mean, it's tough.
Well, that's the biggest bugaboo, man.
Like, yes, they need help.
Part of the conversation yesterday was discussing it's a salary cap era, and teams are up against it, and it's tough to swing a trade. You know when there's a lot more freedom to work around the salary cap?
Yeah, off-season, yeah.
Off-season. What did we clamor for?
Like, that's the thing.
What were we do? We were putting together trades every day. Wow, Rasmus Ristolainen makes a lot of sense in Winnipeg. Nikolai Ehlers looks really nice. Those are comparable contracts.
Jake McCabe has term, and he's a little bit lighter of a contract for you for if you're not looking at Rasmus Ristolainen.
Winnipeg waited the Sabres out, and now they're just saying, we're going to work with what we have and see what we can do. They don't even know if Dustin Byfuglien's coming back to play hockey again, and they're just going to say, you know what, Sami Niku, go get him.
And you know what they're going to do? They're going to trot out Nathan Beaulieu as a top four defenseman.
Oh.
And, I mean, hey, say what you want about the defender he was in Buffalo, but he's not that.
No, that was more.
He's not that terrible,
comments.
Yeah.
No,
Let's add on to that.
I never had a problem with the player.
I know. Like, it's just.
But it was all about the athletic.
Let's just add on to it because, hey, Beaulieu threw comments that were similar to Ryan O'Reilly saying, yeah, he's right. Oh, crap. Then you go ahead and you look at the fact that this team has, 12 NHL defensemen in their organization? So let's get to those particular comments from Botterill. Let's get to those words about how he doesn't want to really trade the defensive depth that he has, and he still holds it as valuable. Why the hell is that? Why? Well, maybe at this point, maybe that stupid tweet that I sent over the summer might not be a joke anymore. Maybe it might be smarter for you to play 12 freaking defensemen, have 6 forwards, because the other half of the roster on the top front ain't scoring anyway.
I'm going to give him a real-life knuck because that was a joke at the time back in July, but it's coming to fruition. Like, he literally...
Not only is it coming to fruition, the bottom 6 is rolling ass. I have more confidence in John Gilmour playing on a 3-defenseman pairing, or trio, I should say, and Jack Eichel and Jeff Skinner being the 2 forwards. At this point, fuck me. This is the worst situation because I tweeted that as a joke, and I have more confidence in it being Eichel, Skinner, Dahlin, Yokoharu, sure, Gilmore, whatever. There's got to be a weak link on that, right? Maybe that'll put up more points than Jimmy Vesey, Johan Larsson, and Zemgus Girgensons. Why is he still here?
Careful, man. We're not going to catch all your words. Got to be easy with these things.
I'm loud
these
enough.
Are gentle. That's very true.
Because he can kill penalties.
You know what else who kills any time he touches the puck? Zemgus Girgensons is the most relatable professional athlete for anybody who is terrible at sports. Hey, do you play in rec league hockey and trip over the blue line? Good news! There's a player who's just like you, and he makes a $1.6 million contract this year.
You know who he makes more than?
Kevin LeBlanc?
Oh, you know me so well. Kevin LeBlanc. Noted playoff hero.
And Victor Olofsson, who, yeah, maybe he's not the greatest in 5-on-5, but he scores goals. He creates assists.
The Olofsson well's gone kind of dry.
It's gone dry.
You saw it today. He was on the fourth line in practice. But don't hold your breath, because in his place was Jimmy Vesey.
I don't want to give up on him yet, though.
Vesey?
No, well, honestly, both.
I'm not giving up on them. The problem that I'm having here is that you're, at least with Olofsson and Vesey, they're new faces this year. At least when we see Rasmus Asplund and Curtis Lazar, they are new faces. Granted, they came in via circumstance.
Yep.
But this year, you trotted out the same stupid fourth-looking line. Nothing against you, Kyle Oposo. You're definitely my favorite player on that bottom six, just because of the player that he was and the fact that he's trying to fight through those health issues. Now I'm just dreadfully terrified for him. You have regularly seen my hatred for Girgensons, the player, at this point. Welcome.
I already know all about it. I've been here for, what are we going on? Probably about 15 minutes? Yeah, I understand.
The same fourth line comes out there. They analytically became darlings under Kruger right away to start off.
They really did. They fooled us, the log line, man.
Yes.
We were so in love with them the first 2 weeks.
We were arguing about a
over
nickname. We were arguing over the nickname of what they should be called.
Yep.
And that looked like more of a testament of Kruger, more so than Bottrell saying, hey, let's throw qualifying offers at Larsson's and Girgensons. And? What do you mean, and? We're keeping both of them? One's fine.
You know you don't have to do this.
You don't have to do this. But, okay, I guess we don't matter. We're only trying to love you. Let us love you, Sabres. And here we are again. Look at this. The middle six is a barren wasteland, it looks like, because I still consider the log line, Roaring 20s line that is no longer that because of injuries and incompetence.
And they can't do their thing anymore because they're always on the penalty kill. That's their secondary usage on this team. And
it's the primary usage.
Okay, fine. Well, great. Yeah.
But, like,
the bottom line is they took 7 penalties last night, 2 of which were double minor on Eichel. They were always on the defensive.
And
against the Wild.
And with a garbage penalty kill, not a great idea to be having to kill penalties. Because let's be real, your penalty kill is bad. It's not good. It's been bad. Your special teams right now are looking like an utter disaster. Drink up.
How do you feel about Johan Larsson?
I'd prefer him over Girgensons.
Okay. We're on the same page now.
That seems like a general consensus.
I like Larsson.
I don't hate Larsson.
Like, if you're going to have one of those guys playing on the bottom six where you want to see more, checking and grit and stuff like that, not overly skilled, I think Larsson gives you more than that. And
Larsson does even bring a little creativity.
And he does, yeah. And, I mean, he's not going to go out there and score 30. But
forget Vlad Sobotka. Offense dies when Zemgus Girgensons touches the puck. Why? He is one clumsy man. Why did he get taken in the first round? Zemgus Girgensons he's just so bad. He was the only player that looked out of touch in the All-Star game when he was there. John Scott looked like a better All-Star game player with the 3-on-3 format than Zemgus Girgensons.
That's All-Star Game MVP, John Scott, to you.
Exactly. That makes my point more.
Hockey's weird, man.
Hockey is weird. And it hurts my soul right now.
It does. It really does.
However, huge shout out to John Scott. He's the main reason why I wrote my capstone paper on fighting in hockey. Yeah.
I got to write one of those. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, they're tough. They're tough. Hey, one tip I'll give you: write about something that it's you're passionate about, and it'll get some creative.
So my hatred about the Buffalo Sabres
Honestly, yes.
might actually be that?
Write a capstone on what you would do as the Buffalo Sabres general manager.
I did steroids in baseball. Talking about the 90s.
There you go.
Anyway.
That was my own source.
So nice.
Reference page.
Very
No,
nice.
totally.
Nice. That's good. But the biggest thing is this. They trotted out a lot of the same players from last year's failing team. And many of them from a failing team. You watched that sad sack of a performance last night. Here was my one thought that I had. Somebody in that building today should not be there tomorrow.
That was a discussion on postgame, especially with the way that the GM's comments. It was a mix of emotions. The GM's comments to start the night, Eichel's fight, the lack of reaction from the bench,
The calling out from a relative newbie.
and then and then the postgame comments from the players, one of which who has not even been here for half of a year yet. Brian Koziel talked about it on postgame late at night. If you were driving around, you were listening. He was like, if there was not a more prime evening if you were Jason Botchwell and Ralph Kruger, especially Ralph Kruger, to get together and say, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I saw X, Y, and Z sitting here on the bench. Our captain just put blood on the line to try and spark these boys for a win against a very, very, very easy team to beat this year, especially on the road. Worst road team in the league comes into your building and has you down 3-0 after 40 minutes, and you get no response. I want him out of here. I don't want to go forward as a head coach, sit behind this bench, and have these players skate on my ice for me.
Backtracking a little bit, like I can understand wanting to keep the majority of the same players you had, even though the team was so bad last year. You have a new coach coming in, maybe he can spark something with the same guys you had that Housley couldn't, because everyone thought that Housley was the problem. So I understand that to an extent. But then after, the first month was okay, but then now you see the struggles a little bit. I think now, yeah, you kind of can see that those guys are still the problem. It wasn't Housley. But then going back, what you're talking about, and again, with all the same guys, then you got Bottrell saying, we feel comfortable with the players we have in his little media session last night. And I
just like how it's comfortable to cuddle with a cactus.
That's
Yeah, man, he tried his hardest. Whether it was
Trust me, I've got a lot of those weird kinds of sayings.
I want to break down a couple of the quotes that he said yesterday. So
okay, so let's break them down and we'll react. This ought to be fun.
Later on,
because I'm basically a fucking powder keg at this point. There's two.
Later on, I kind of jumped around a little bit. This is the first one that really jumped out to me. He's talking about the start of the month they had. You look at the 4 games we had in a row against Washington, Islanders, Tampa Bay. Those are teams who have been at the top of the league for the last couple of years. That's where we want to get to, and then ended it by saying, unfortunately, we're not there yet.
Really? You don't say.
So that tells me right there, like the general manager knows that they're not going to be, a top of the division, not even a top of the conference,
But the
top of the league
unfortunately
team.
part of that also sounds like he expected this to be a top-tier team. Like, much to his chagrin.
Like I said, I wanted to do this because I wanted to break down the quotes and all the things that it could mean because, you're going to say stuff, we got the pressure on you. Things are going to come out that, weren't on the script. And I think this is one of them. He knows that the team is not there yet, so why are you sitting back and just watching it happen? It's like, your team
Does it sound familiar? Lest we forget the 3-17 stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, why don't you cool off? There's some water out there.
Nope.
You just take the
Nope.
keg off
I'm just
the
gonna
cooler.
I'm just gonna let these people watch me die inside.
This is not a habanero hot take. He's just sweaty with anger.
Oh, fuck, I got to do that too.
So-
That's 3, by the way.
But moving on, he was asked a
You
question.
might have to do it too, so don't get cocky.
I'm fine with it. I'm ready for it.
Oh, screw you.
He was asked a question in regards to the cap and then also the roster, and responded with, "We don't want to be in a situation where we have to make a move." You've been in a position to make a move since last year, since the offseason.
Are in that spot. When Zach Bogosian is healthy, and he's getting there, by the way, you literally have to do something.
He could be back by the weekend. He said road trip.
Remember the meme?
You could see him in Florida.
Do you remember the meme, do something, Darcy? Bulldog wrote about it at WGR550.com. And he wrote about do something, Darcy. Instead, now do something, Jason. We're back to that. At least with Tim Murray's adorable screw-ups, he did something. He did it wrong and way too aggressively, but he did something. And anyone that knows me knows that I was so disappointed and angry with the Tim Murray tenure. Jason Botterill, outside of Ryan O'Reilly, Brendan Gooley, Cliff Pooh, and Alex Nylander, has not shipped a single person out of here that has been here for a long-ass time. Simple as that, actually. Those are the 4 players that he shipped out. He has not shipped out somebody from that core. And that brings me back to what I said. Somebody in that building that has been here for years, in this 8-year stretch of not making the playoffs, where half the league makes the playoffs. Somebody from that core has to go. I do not care who it is. I don't care for what. If it's McCabe, Bogosian, Ristolainen, Reinhart even at this point, just to send the message that what is going on right now is not going to fly. It cannot keep going like this. Otherwise, the person that should be out is Botterill.
I'm going to keep poking the bear. Next question was, is this a repeat of last year? Which, every member of the media is going to ask when the Sabres start to struggle.
We know who asked that.
Yeah.
I can confirm who asked that.
I love when they ask tough questions.
Did he pridefully confirm it too?
Yes, he did, actually.
Of course
he pridefully
he did. Of
confirmed
course he
that.
did.
Quote,
I asked the tough questions. No, you're just being a jerk.
quote, "I would say it's something that we have to prove that it's not. Step 1 of proving is doing something. Step 1 of showing that you're willing to make a change from last year is, again, changing the bottom 6. Not keeping the same bottom 6 that didn't do anything for you last year and has continued not to do anything for you this year." It's like,
You very calmly took the words out of my mouth.
yeah, I'm trying to settle you down a little bit. This This is another one that we've already talked about. I didn't even have the question here. I just love the quote. "Imperative to keep our depth on defense." You could field almost two NHL teams with the defense.
You can.
You can feel
You can.
two NHL teams.
You have 3 players in Rochester right now that could be NHL defensemen today.
Whether these people on that are on
Today.
the NHL roster now are going to argue whether they're good enough to be in the NHL or not, still you could easily field 2 NHL teams.
You know what? Let's do a flash draft. All right, Connor, you're going to get the first pick. We're picking the Sabres 12 defensemen that should be in NHL rosters right now. Go ahead. Take the first pick of a Sabres defenseman.
Montour,
Darlene,
Yoki Haru,
Ristolainen,
Pilot.
Bogosian.
Are we going overall or are we just going this year?
Like the group that's right here,
All
right now.
I'm blanking out. I'm going to take Scandella.
Good. I think he's been good this year.
Yeah, he's been good this year.
Colin Miller.
That's the one I was missing.
Yeah, because he was
because he's
scratched
been in the
2
press
games.
box.
But I've got some Will Borgen. What the hell's the other? Yeah, you already got Pilot.
You got me on the spot. You threw me off.
I don't even
But,
remember
like,
how
Pilot-
many we've listed.
Yeah, no, like 5 and 4, by the way.
Oh my
We've
God,
left
3
off.
short.
Casey
We've left.
Nelson?
Yeah, Casey
Good one.
Nelson.
Okay, so Nelson, Borgen, and Pilot were.
Gilmore and McCabe are the ones that we've left off.
Zach Redmond.
Yuck.
That's it. That's it. You guys could take 6 of them and have a defensive core that actually is an NHL group.
Hey, Gilmore's got trade value now. Do you remember when Ty Montgomery from Green Bay could do a little bit of running back and wide receiver?
Yeah. He was wide receiver and running back in fantasy.
You can talk to GMs and say, hey, this Johnny guy here, he can play a nasty left wing.
He could play. No, he
this
can
kid
play.
can play. You want to see some tape?
Frank.
Jason, what can he play? Oh, he can play.
Frank, with this dead look that I have, just do something with it, okay?
Hashtag do something, Frank.
That would be more than the general manager's doing.
That's where we're at.
Okay, here's the problem. Your forward group is awful. Your middle 6 is awful. You have 12 NHL-ready and caliber defensemen. And you're worried about your depth? I think it's great that Karma is striking the forwards down. Because you're so worried about the defensive injuries. But what did you get? No. Not only are you injured on the forwards in the NHL, you can't even call up C.J. Smith or Scott Wilson.
Okay, so we're talking about the large number of defensemen. Who do you want to go in a trade?
Yes. The answer right now is yes. Except for Brandon Montour at this point and Rasmus Dahlin and Henry Jokiharju.
All right, so if
there's 3. 3 don't trades. That's it. Everyone else, I don't care right now.
Okay, but if
trade something.
If you're Botterill, and if you're trying to work the phones, trying to get a trade to happen right now, who are you trying to dish off?
Marco Scandella. I think this year he's had the most value. It's not going to get you much, but it's going to get you about as much as you would for. It would probably be easier to swing a trade for a guy like Scandella who's playing well with a lesser contract than trying to figure out a money in, money out, top 4 defenseman for top 6 forward type deal right now for Ristolainen.
I would agree with that. My answer was going to be Jake McCabe, but here's the problem. Scouts have eyeballs.
And he's got an A on his jersey.
That part does not matter.
See, but it does.
No, it does not.
See, it does and it shouldn't.
It does not.
I agree.
A as in get your ass out of here.
Let me say it shouldn't.
Yeah, no, here's the A. A, get your ass out of here because you're playing like it.
I was super pissed, honestly. Like, I think McCabe's play has warranted a benching.
Yeah.
But I think it's and most people would agree it's because of that letter. Because I went to the game in against Carolina last Thursday, and I saw the lines, and I was actually really pissed. I didn't want to go anymore because like Colin Miller wasn't playing. I was like, I like watching him. I don't think he's been bad. Like of all the defensemen that have played this year,
he's definitely been one of the best.
Was he the one that had to take a 2-game? What is it? What are they calling it? Rest? Just the press box? Like,
sit.
Oh, go rest your eyes.
Just
go
sit.
watch. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
What's he going to learn from Jake McCabe eating up 25 minutes right now? The hell is he learning? Nothing. Other than I'm learning that I don't like this place because you're going to do it to another player in this organization. Which leads me back to one stupid thing right now. How is it that the Pagulas have figured out the Buffalo Bills, the 17-year playoff drought having-ass Buffalo Bills? You figured that out and have them at competent level, maybe even playoff level this year. Granted, that's the quality of the AFC for you this year, but hey, you take what you can get sometimes. And yet the Sabres not only have been an unmitigated disaster in your tenure, but overall now, you're the new Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, God. That just makes it sound even more sad. Earlier when we were talking about this, though, I was going to kind of compare it to the media embarrassment and disaster of when towards the end of the Ryan and Whaley era for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happened after that happened? Bills made the playoffs. Hey, maybe this is the Sabres version of the Ryan and Whaley. Yeah. Positive thinking. Positive thinking.
That's why we brought him in, folks.
Yeah, Derek, I'm sorry.
I'm usually the happy guy.
I'm sorry, Derek. I'm a very optimistic looking fella here.
Bless you.
So, but
because
I'm not.
Hell, get me talking about the Bills right now. I will go ahead and say something about like I was wrong about Josh Allen. I love what he's been so far. He's probably the second best quarterback of the draft class. I still love you, Lamar.
I do too.
Oh my God! Like I remember how scared I was about him going to New England. I'm like, please just let Lamar Jackson not go to the Patriots so I can cheer for him still. And hey, he didn't. So perfect.
Fantasy darling.
Not just a fantasy darling. He's just
just a darling.
He's just a darling. He's just a guy. But like, you get me talking football, I will be immediately happy about the Buffalo team right now. Why? Because they've done something.
I'm not an over optimist or a pessimist. I always said that I just look at things with a real kind of perspective. So,
trust me,
yes,
Kyle can attest. I am generally balanced, but when I'm pissed, I'm pissed.
that's the thing. Yes, this last couple of weeks of Buffalo hockey has been an absolute joke and just a laughingstock, especially when it comes to presence in the media now. Bottle coming out and speaking, guys getting benched, scratched, whatever. But it is still November. There's still a lot of time. I mean, you look at St. Louis again last year. Yes, you're going to need another miracle like how St. Louis had last year, but, I mean, granted, the possibility of it happening, is it there? It's not common or likely that it could happen, but still, it's November. There's still a lot of time of hockey left.
Yeah, there's still a lot of hockey left, but
again, being in Buffalo,
you got
seeing
to do
it
something.
happen, just being a part of it, being around it, and just seeing the same thing happen every single year, it just builds up.
I will at least say one thing right now. Like, I'm going to credit you for being an optimist, and I'm going to credit you for you worked the games for WGR, running the board a lot of times during the week. Bless you both. I can at least go ahead and say one thing. I'm not apathetic. I am not dismissive about this team. I still want things to happen, and when I hurt, I hurt.
It's true.
Yeah,
That is not a common trait of the fan base right now.
I know it is a common trait. Just always pointing a finger at someone individual, not just the team. It's got to be one person.
It's got to be
And
one
that's the one thing
person,
that bothers me the most about Buffalo Twitter.
and generally for some stupid reason, particularly amongst boomers, sorry, Jack Eichel's the one that they blame, and it's like, okay, and if anyone blamed Eichel for anything after he chucked Nux yesterday, trying to get something going, well,
I read
first
through a
off,
couple comment sections.
You picked the wrong day.
I think by rule they can't actually have a comment on Jack Eichel for a couple of days.
So hold on. I'm just going to run through a timeline. I'm going to try and think of it off the top. So
Quickly.
Off season, you got everyone pointing the finger at Ristolainen. Get him out of here. He's a terrible defenseman. You need something for him. Then fast forward, start of the season, everyone pointing the finger at Sobotka. Yes, was it warranted? Kind of. And everyone pointing the finger at McCabe. And then it kind of went back to Scandella again. The people realized he was playing well, so they stopped yelling at Scandella.
What do we have left to yell at? Marco's doing well.
I know.
No, you know who it is? Bottrell.
Now, yeah. Since last night, yeah.
Bottrell now, yes. But then
gave us nothing.
you even got people starting to point the finger at Kruger, too. Guy's been here a month and a half.
He's been here for 21 games, guys. Calm down. On the coach, calm down. There was a joke that was said actually about the firing of Mike Babcock, which Kyle's going to take off, and we might have a little bit of time to talk about that real quick. Actually, real quick, though, the Leafs fired Babcock. The Leafs did something.
They did it. Yeah,
They did a thing. They did something. I'm not saying Jason Botch will go fire the coach because that's the wrong thing. But do something. Literally do something. Go ahead and trade another third-round pick for a forward and just see if it works. Kick the tires. And then go ship off the contract to Zach Bogosian and pay like a seventh to get rid of it.
8 years.
Oh.
$50 million for 4.5 seasons, which included 3 first-round exits to the Capitals twice.
That's
and
right.
And the Islanders?
Boston,
right.
3 to Boston, 1 to the Capitals.
2 to Boston, 1 to the Capitals.
Oh, 2 to Boston, yes.
Because the other
Right,
year
right,
under
right,
Babcock
yep.
was
Tank.
the unofficial tank year
Yes.
for Austin Matthews.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
He shunned Buffalo, and then he couldn't succeed with Toronto and get out of the first round, including 2 Game 7 implosions with Boston. But guess what? The Leafs went ahead and looked at it and said, this is not acceptable. Nazem Kadri kept getting suspended. Guess what? You're part of a trade package for
Tyson
Barrie and going to Colorado.
Who is now kind of under the radar, has but hasn't requested a trade.
Who?
Tyson Barrie.
Oh, boy.
He said it.
Really?
I think it was Sportsnet said that he hasn't formally asked for a trade, but like it's in the talks.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow. And but they see things though, and it's like, this is not acceptable. We need to try something different. Jason Bottrell even looks at Phil Housing and goes, okay, yeah, we can't keep this going. No, this is just whatever at this point. We'll we've got videos coming for the rest of the week, so we can bring up more with Mike Babcock and the Leafs and everything like that, and more being pissed off about the Sabres. But I needed to get some things off my chest, and we needed to do that here and now.
Thankfully, we have a platform for this.
Yes, the Raging Buffalo. Thanks for watching, by the way. Always appreciate that sort of thing. And also, we can go ahead and say, give us the like, give us the subscribe. It means everything to us right now. It makes us happy. Give the boys the follows on Twitter.
At datdude_KP.
Oh, mine's not as cool. At C_Priester8.
And I'm at Derek Kramer 49. None of us are dat dude except for Kyle over there. And
which you ripped off from Brendan Phillips.
He ripped it off from me.
No, he did not.
Oh, strong. Kyle going on strong there. Finally, I've got a couple of announcements for the Raging Buffalo coming up. Kyle brought it up during the podcast here about the habanero hot takes. Yeah, that's coming at the end of the month. I'm terrified. Habanero hot takes, where we do one topic. Why one topic? Because 3 people. It may be this 3. I don't know who yet. I know I'm in there, unfortunately, but we're probably going to have a video to draft the other 2 unfortunate souls that will have to join me, because we will be arguing our points about one topic after eating a hot pepper. And that's going to be terrifying. It's going to be awful. And it's probably for you going to be hilarious. And the other one that I've got for you, coming into the pipeline here, I made a couple friends, and we're going to have a collaboration project going on with the Geekiverse, a group of people. They talk pop culture, video games, anything like that. They're going to be joining us. We're going to be joining them. It's going to be a nice little fun thing that we got going on there. So thanks, and a shout out to Josiah Leroy for helping out and setting up a collaboration with us here. That's going to be coming in a couple weeks as well.
Love it.
There you go. So if you want to talk anything about, like, you know, is Star Wars worrying you, or is it pissing you off, or is The Mandalorian just awesome right now? You're playing Pokemon Sword and Shield because you just like Pokemon, and you're like, hey, that game's fun right now. Like, these guys are people that, you know, they hit that and much more. Everything on the table there. And
is there ice tilt in NHL 20?
Maybe we can look at that too with those guys and with us as well, because no topic is off limits here on the Raging Buffalo podcast. Thanks for listening, and you'll be seeing more of us this week.